Hi, my name is Carlo Ledesma and I am the director of the horror film Sunod. Sunod is my second movie, with the first one being the Australian found footage film The Tunnel. While both films are very, very different stylistically, the one factor that remains consistent in both is my philosophy of less is more. So with Sunod, I set out to make a film that didn't try to cheapen the audience experience with fake jump scares every 5 minutes. Instead, what I wanted to do was to craft a film that's more unsettling, quiet, with scares that will hopefully stick with you long after you've left the cinema. With that in mind, I'd like to take you guys through a couple of scenes from the film. Okay, so in the film, Olivia is constantly haunted by dreams of burying her daughter. So now these dreams represent Olivia's greatest fear, which is losing her daughter, Annelle. Now, I wanted these dream sequences to really set the tone for the entire film. I wanted to be a manifestation of Olivia's mind in a very stylized, exaggerated, and gothic way. So if you look at the scene, if you notice that it's raining nonstop, and I wanted to establish that mood deliberately. Now, the problem with having too much rain or wanting to shoot with too much rain is that it started to cause our graveyard hole to collapse, almost like a mini landslide. So the PD team had to really scramble to fortify it with wood and to keep the dirt from collapsing on Crystal, our actress. So there's a shot in the film where we needed to have Crystal's arm emerge from the ground, Evil Dead style. So rather than bury Crystal entirely, we built like a little wooden rig for her to comfortably sit in while we shot close-ups of her arm. So doing it that way allowed us to get the shot that I wanted while still keeping my actors safe. I think that the person that had it the hardest was Crystal, because not only did she need to stay motionless in the grave, she also had to try her best to keep her eyes from flickering as we threw mud at her face, which, just in case you're curious, wasn't really mud, but it was a combination of styrofoam and chocolate powder milk. So it actually tasted quite good. So hats off to Crystal for lying down in that freezing grave for such a long time and staying professional all throughout. Good job, Crystal. Later on in the film, Olivia's dreams start to take an interesting turn. As she starts to experience these bizarre events in the call center where she works, elements of the call center start appearing in her dreams. So it's all like compounding one by one in her head and growing stronger as the forces come closer and closer to her and her daughter. So to summarize the dream sequence structure, our DOP, Michael David, has said that the dream sequence day was the hardest for him to shoot because of all the elements needed to make the scenes work. You know, we had a quarry, we had rain, we had sun coming in, cloud cover, collapsing sets. But from my end, I look back at that day fondly because I think we were able to overcome all those challenges and we put together something cinematic and very memorable.
Hi everyone, my name is Lance. I am a team manager here at LGO and I will be your trainer for the next 7 days.
So in the film, we will see, spoiler alert, one of the characters get this well-deserved death. Si Lance, who is played by JC Santos, is a call center team leader who takes advantage of his position and he sexually harasses Olivia. So this leads to the ghost of Nerissa, who is inside Annelle's body, to take matters into her own hands and punish Lance the way she sees fit. And that pretty much means bludgeoning him and strangling him to death. I love it. So the scene starts with a blatant foreshadow. We see Lance entering the lobby and he casually checks out a female worker. The way he's seen this cut and the way the music plays, you just know that something bad is going to happen. He makes eye contact with the building's receptionist and she gives him a smile. Now, is it a smile that shows that she knows what's about to happen to him, or is she just being friendly to Lance? So what I wanted to do here was I wanted Dolly, the actress, to be as ambiguous in her performance as possible so that the audience would have their own interpretation. Now, for this particular sequence, I extensively storyboarded the different beats that I wanted to hit. In my storyboards, we see him walking towards the barricaded door. He hovers on the tension, and then when nothing happens, he turns around, but as he does so, boom, the lights above the door flickers on. Lance turns back, and now the trap is set for Nerissa to make her move. So as Lance enters the basement, we give a bit of a payoff to a subtle running joke that's been going on throughout the whole film. Because Lance works in a call center, one of the biggest rules in any call center is that all employees must speak English. And so in all of these scenes, Lance does speak English all throughout. But when he's finally spooked by something, which is this scene right here,
Hindi nakakatawa to, ha? Sino yan?
he finally reverts back to Tagalog. So we wanted to give it like a little humorous payoff in the middle of this creepy scene. So for this sequence, we were able to establish Lance's approach, and then we establish a mini fake scare where you think there's something behind him in the back, when in fact it's not. And from there, the camera just slowly moves away from him, just to give the sense that it's diffusing tension. And then suddenly, bam, the lights go on and establishing the real scare. Now, because of that long take, I was able to now complement that with snappier, fast jump cuts, as we now see Anel / Nerissa choking Lance to death. So if you notice here, it goes cut to cut na, and then able to use the device of the flickering lights to show our guy just having the life choked out of him. One of the questions I get asked a lot about is, what's with the red string? So you see it in our posters, in the trailer. In fact, our press conference venue was draped in red string. So what exactly is the importance of the string in the film? The red string is an object used by Perla to enable her to perform her body transfer ritual on her victims. So she takes a simple ball of string, which in most instances looks like the most mundane object you'll ever find, but then she ties it to this old bone needle, and therefore enabling it to take on a more malevolent intent. So as Perla uses the string to tether herself to Olivia, we then reveal the true nature of not just Perla, but the building itself. And we reveal that this is a place where old dark magic resides, and that Olivia's body is now next in line to be taken over by Perla. So we see what the red string is in this scene. So if you can see, it's just this wild, creepy web-like element that's completely wrapped itself around Olivia and all the other victims. So it's the payoff for all the visual clues that we've established all throughout the film. So if you look closely, the red string that you saw earlier is now manifested in this bizarre alternate kind of parallel universe. And if you notice closely, if you look, if you notice, you'll realize certain elements that this world is actually like a reverse or like a parallel version of the lobby of the call center building. But in this version, you see the true nature of what dark magic is actually in this building. So you see like the floating women who are Perla's previous victims, all just being suspended in this world, while Olivia, who is the next victim, is right smack in the middle of it. And that's where the title of the movie comes in, Siya ang Sunod. So I'd like to invite you guys to watch Sunod. It is the only horror movie that's showing as part of the Metro Manila Film Festival. It's co-produced by Globe Studios and 1017p Films. And we're very, very excited to bring it to you and give you guys a good scare.